Hello everyone, where do I begin? I know I haven't published many video reports in the past 2.5, 3 weeks. I have been receiving so many emails from you, so many inquiries saying, where did you go? What have you been doing? Why have you disappeared? I don't know why, because I published several videos announcing exactly what I was going to do and what was my activism front. I believe I also shared with you the fact that finally, Twitter totally suspended my account. Again, people have been panicking and saying, why haven't you tweeted? But if you go to my Twitter page, and I had about 55,000 followers on Twitter, and I had that account for 10 years, you see that the message pops up saying this account has been suspended due to suspicious activities. And I believe it was suspended a few days before they suspended President Trump's Twitter account. As you know, I have been expecting this. There is no surprise. I'm not throwing any tantrums here. I'm not about to do that. It is their turf, okay? And in fact, for several years, I have been telling you that these channels that you keep saying, oh, but it's free, why don't you put your stuff only on YouTube, open it to all, etc., that this was temporary and that this was not free. And this came with all sorts of conditions. I said that for several years on the record. They are all available. So yes, I was expecting this. Those of you awake people, you were agreeing with me, you were expecting it. Well, it happened. And there is no surprise there. And last I checked, Parler was down. I haven't been really doing much in terms of the public Newsbud Twitter activities other than the activism, this new front of activism. So that's for that. And for those of you who for some reason didn't get to watch all my previous video reports, this is the last chance, okay? That is my humble personal belief. Unfortunately, I've been right. I have been proven right on so many of these predictions from Coups and these social media channels. And now I'm telling you, based on my personal opinion as an analyst, as a journalist, as a once upon a time government whistleblower who has gone through all this before they started implementing it in a global scale, okay? This was around 2002, that this is the last chance. And I am taking the path, I'm doing I'm engaging in this very specific activism with a very specific, clear and precise objectives that is the only way. Otherwise, it's going to be gone as well. And I will explain it to you in a few seconds. Why again? But a good place to start would be my series here on YouTube at Newsbud, also via Patreon. 8-9 months ago, I began publishing these video reports on the coup effect in USA. I produced 8 or 10 video reports, many of them very lengthy, and I told you that we were in the 4th stage of coup, and I explained all the signs, all the reasons why we were under the coup and why it was a definitive assertion that it was not engaging in some sort of either hyperbole or exaggeration, that we were going through a coup. 8 months ago, I started this. I tried very hard to convey the fact that this is a coup, and we the people, should be acting and responding in that way, because it is a coup, and therefore our activism, our actions, our reactions had to be in response to an actual coup in our nation. Unfortunately, I guess maybe I was not able to convey it as well as I should have, because after all those reports I put out there, all I heard from 99.9% of you was, that's why we're gonna go and we're gonna vote, and these elections, we're gonna go and show them that we are resisting the coup. My friends, when there is a coup, there are no legitimate elections. And I tried to explain this. Who controls the elections? And when I was explaining this entire process of coup and the fact that we were already deep into it, because this was not a coup that was executed in a matter of a few months. This was planned and it was ongoing, and it was in effect in stages, and we were already last June, July, we were approaching the end of the line with this coup. We were getting to that completion point. And I guess as a nation here in the United States, people, since they never really had actual coup, maybe some indirect coups, small scale coups, they fail to grasp the extent and the severity of it. And I tried, because I have seen coups. I have seen several coups. I have lived in different countries. And I'm an analyst. I'm a geopolitical analyst. So when you hear all these reports and you say, okay, November is going to come, we're going to go and show them, that just tells me that it went above people's head. You can't have elections when you're in the middle of the coup. And if there is one, it's not a real election. I went there and I cast my vote, okay? I did that. So I went there and I voted here in Florida, knowing that this was not going to be any kind of a straightforward, honest, real election. Starting from June, last June, they were actually telling you, they were telling us, they were saying this elections was going to get to be contested, and then there was going to be this adamant dictatorship, refusal of leaving the White House. They started putting that, and I played those videos for you 8 months ago, 7 months ago, then again 6 months ago, that they have already set the stage. They have set the stage. They are telling us, the people, exactly what they're gonna do. And that's exactly what they did. Yet, despite having this alarm bell ringing it, the reaction being, okay, then we're gonna go and vote, saying, that's not how it works. It doesn't work, because elections won't work. They do not work under any coups. During any time in the history when there has been coups, there has never been a real elections. Very naive, very gullible, maybe wishful thinking. But I'm not here. I'm not here to tell you, oh, I told you so. Why didn't you listen to me? I'm not here for that. I'm just leading to what I really want to tell you. Not that. Past is past. It's over. That part, not all. A lot of it is over. Okay, that was for the elections. Now, immediately after the elections, the so-called counting the votes, people's focus then was placed, it's not over, because we're gonna go to courts, we're gonna challenge this, and we're gonna also go through our Congress in Washington, D.C., and we are going to challenge it. Again, my friends, those of you who've known me for the past 19 years, I have been a public person. I have had thousands of video reports. Whose courts are you going? Whose courts are we going to seek fair and just orders, okay, or outcome? It's insane. It's insane to say, well, we're going to go to their courts, their kangaroo courts, because that's exactly what it becomes. It's not the people's courts. It's not the real courts. These federal courts, these are their courts, their kangaroo courts, okay? Their turf. And you're going to go to their judges on their turf and seek justice and solution, okay? Fair and just solution against them in their court, okay? That's another insanity. That is another, I don't know where have you been, those of you who truly believe that. I went all the way to the Supreme Court, and this was in 2002 to 2006. Those arenas have been in the enemies, on the enemy's turf. These are not the vehicles. These are not the areas you go to seek remedy for what the enemy is doing to us by going to the enemy's courts. Okay, that's for the courts. DC and Congress, same. I walked those halls armed with all sorts of rights, constitutional rights, my Bill of Rights, an incredible case with all the evidence, witnesses, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of petitions for Congress to do what it's supposed to do. And this is 2002 to 2006. And I found out that there is no such a thing. That's a whorehouse, okay? There are pimps, and then there is the enemy's turf. You can never seek any kind of remedy for the people, we the people, by going to that entity, that institution, enemy's institution. They are traitors. They are the enemies. Hello, you're going to go to the enemies and seek remedy from the enemies. Ding dong, okay? Ding dong, all right? Wake up. Please wake up, okay? Please wake up. If you haven't already, please wake up, okay? Please wake up. Now, enough of negative stuff, okay? Enough of negative stuff, because if this was truly over, okay, everywhere, in every way, I wouldn't be producing this chatty video, okay? This lengthy video, because there's so much going on right now with my life, and I will explain that, because then there's positive. If there are those of you with sensibility who are saying, yeah, you told us, we watched you, you said it, we should have listened, okay, or we should have at least tried something else, not what we tried. Maybe that would have worked. I'm not saying it's guaranteed. This is for you, okay? Because I'm telling you right now what the enemy is going to do next, okay? Again, as a journalist, as an analyst, as a former government whistleblower, I'm going to tell you what they are planning to do and they're about to do, because they are finished with that central beast, okay? White House, etc. They have already taken over. The coup is finalized there. There's not going to be any remedy through the courts or that institution, the courts or the elections. I believe by now you're all with me, right? Anybody who has decent level of IQ, functioning brain, I just can't see how you wouldn't agree that that's a goner. Good. Actually, it's much better to admit it, that it's goner, okay? It's a goner cause, and then actually put our concentration where it should be. See, because there are two ways of wars, or defending yourself in a war, or countering. So whether you think it is a metaphorical way of saying it is a war, it's a war. It's a war waged against us, we the people. One thing which we have been doing, our nation, this is why we've been losing, okay? This is exactly why we are getting defeated every turn, in every turn, and I tell you why. Because we keep going, we the people, with one strategy, and that is, we wait for the enemy to make its move or moves, then we go into this defensive mode after the fact, missing all the signs along the way, etc., and then getting defeated, and then we go a few steps back, and then same thing over and over again. They attack, we go into this defensive mode, then we retreat. Okay, that's the party that will always lose, and there will be no way of winning no matter what the circumstances, okay? Think of it as a war strategy. There is this saying, there is this idiom that says, oh, well, the best defense is an offense, right? And also the best strategy is not coming after the fact when they come and they screw us, okay? It's when they're actually announcing, saying, ding dongs, you the people, we're gonna be doing this to you. Before they get to do that, you do it, you preempt it, okay? Offense, and you preempt it. You preempt it with your offensive strategy and action. Now that has a very high chance of success. It's not a 100% lost cause when this first strategy is. Isn't it clear already? Haven't we seen already, right? Okay. What is the enemy, the invaders, the coup makers? What are they signaling? Because as an analyst, that's what I do. I get all the data, whether it is from open sources with what they say, which they announce a lot of it, okay? Or through my sources, and I have many reliable sources, okay? And the past experiences. You combine that, and I'm not gloating here, okay? Because nobody's gonna pay me for what I'm doing, and nobody's gonna give me a medal, all right? So I'm not gloating here. I'm telling you what the enemy is going to do. And I'm telling you in this hope, with this hope, that this time around, maybe there will be more people listening, okay? The next move for our enemy is neutralizing our states, our 50 states. There are so many that have been neutralized. I'm not talking about those states, California, New York, no. I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about, you know, where we watched during the elections report, counting the votes, those red states, and some more red than others. And I'm not talking in terms of Republican Democrats, I'm talking about what the enemy has on the way, is coming, okay? Planned, already, staged. In what way? You're gonna be hearing a lot of words like standardization. It's going to start being repeated again and again. We heard that with education, right? With the public schools, states shouldn't have any say, counties shouldn't have, local governments shouldn't have any say. We need Common Core or No Child Left Behind. We need to standardize. We don't want these differences of approach between one state and another state and another state. No, sir. We are the one world order enemy, right? The new world order, one world government, right? You can't have variation under that plan objective. The success of that, accomplishing it for the enemy, is to remove those variations. One state doing it this way, another state saying, no, federal government, I don't like it, I'm gonna go it that way. They can't have that, right? Well, this COVID is a great example. So they are coming and they're going to be using this COVID front that they created, their stage COVID front, to accomplish it in so many different ways. And they are already doing it, okay? But there are certain states that are resisting. They're going to take away our Second Amendment. That has been on the plan. Obama didn't left it for the next one, for the next one, for the next Darth Vader getting in there. And now that the Darth Vader is in there, that is the one that's going to be accomplished. For that, it's not going to be COVID. We're going to be having, imagine this, okay, how they can take these 24-hour cycle of the news. Every minute tell you about how many people caught COVID, how many tested positive for COVID, how many died from COVID, you know, the ones that we can't really prove that they died from COVID. Imagine this exact same thing that you're seeing with COVID, and they choose to do that with the context of gunshot victims, okay, 24/7. Suddenly there will be, again, that pretext created, we must do something, right? People are dying. If they were just to report state of Illinois every day, right? One more person died from gunshot. One more person is in ICU because of the gunshot. Throughout the states, Baltimore, everywhere, right? Pretext there, take away guns. Create that overreaction, create that hysteria, create that fear, okay? Create that justification and take away rights. That's the method, that's the modus operandi. They're coming after homeschoolers. They're coming after people who, or the states that are not mandating vaccines, the states that are not mandating whatever lockdown, whether it's for COVID or it's because there must be a gunman, you know, out there on the loose and he may shoot someone. You can't prove it that somebody is not going to shoot someone. So you just stay in lockdown. What I'm saying is no matter what it is, there are, fortunately, there are still states, not many of them, that have not rolled over completely. See, I'm putting the word there, completely. Relatively speaking, compared to some other states. Now, they are coming after our states' rights. They are going to remove anything that varies, meaning everything has to be under one national law, not the Constitution, because Constitution is moot as far as these people are concerned. Federal government with their whorehouse in Washington, D.C., they make the laws. They can be 100% in conflict with our Constitution. When has that stopped them? Patriot Act? Hello? Patriot Act? When you go to the airport and they pat you down and finger you, search you, invade your privacy. Well, the Constitution says you can't do that without the probable cause. But they're telling you that no, you're a suspect terrorist, or maybe. And they don't have to show you any probable cause. Everybody goes through that, right? Hello, remember NSA? Now everybody knows they listen to all of you without any warrants, without any cause, no probable cause. So, as you can see, Constitution, since when the Constitution has stopped the enemy, the federal beast, okay? All their agencies, all of them. And since when the whorehouse there has done its duty of standing for the Constitution or constitutionality of whatever they are passing, since when? I can't think of anything, especially since 9/11, since 2001, I can't think of any. Accountability, system of checks and balances, those things, moot. Okay, so that's for that one. Courts, if this should be after going through what we did as a nation and we watched, televised, right? Should absolutely remove any trace of doubt or hope you held on courts doing anything for we the people, okay? When I was working at the FBI, I had this one federal agent there, FBI agent, who told me this story because later he went to the Inspector General's office and filed and complained about this, right? Well, he became a whistleblower too, like me, and he was a senior agent by that point. But when he first started, one of his tasks, jobs on the training as an agent was, with some other agents, they would go and do the background check, dig up on appointees, judge appointees, the ones that presidents put forth, you know. Whoever is the president comes and says, I want this guy and this woman and this guy. And they have to then, FBI, go investigate, do the background check, come back and say which ones are clean, like, okay, they are good, which ones are not. Well, this FBI agent, he filed his case and then he became a whistleblower and they retaliated against him and all that, the whole thing. What they did was the opposite, meaning they eliminated from their list any judges, federal judge candidates, any candidates that the president put on their list that was too clean, too squeaky clean, and they prioritized the ones that had many skeletons in their closets, you know, the crooks and the pedophiles and the charlatans and people with all sorts of other types of problem, whether it's themselves or through their families, their spouses, anyhow. And they eliminated the clean ones. And that was like an official thing, okay? This is not a made-up thing. And it was not only for that particular president in this particular FBI agent's case. Since the J. Edgar Hoover's days, that's what FBI has been instructed to do. You can't have clean, decent judges in federal courts because, oopsie daisy, they may end up ruling in a decent way, in a fair and just way. Well, the evil, the dark side, the enemy can't have that. They can't risk it. So yes, they are pedophiles and charlatans and crooks because that's when the presidents, whether they know about it or not, officially, the FBI gives them the list. It says, of the 20 that you gave us, here are the 8 that are 2 thumbs up, dude. You can go ahead and appoint them. And then the Congress, of course, would approve them. So that's how it goes. So I hope you don't have any high hopes for courts. Now, back to states. We only have one option left. One option left. And it's a good one. It's the only viable one. It's the only constitutional one. And it's the only one that actually, if we the people, right now, we the people, in all these states, if we were to say, yes, we should do it, we will get it done. We will get it done and it will be a win victory, okay, a major one, in like maybe 2 or 3 months, max. Go read the 10th Amendment. Right now, I'm not going to talk about nullification. No, states, as states, we have so many rights. It is us, the people, not letting our states fold. And we can do that. You see, when we go and take the entire nation all at once, right? The federal courts and the beast and the whorehouse in Washington, D.C. and all the corrupt agencies and the 50 states, right? That becomes just the notion, just the thought of it makes me go like, I mean, how can we take it on? Because that's the wrong way to think of it. State. Straightforward, okay? It's doable, it's achievable. That's what I've been doing, okay? For the past 27 days, and easily, 8 to 10 hours a day, that's all I've been doing. Because I know, based on all the information I've been getting, based on everything I've been analyzing, open source, based on everything they've been already signaling, okay, saying, I know it's coming. They're going to come after the states. They're going to neuter the relatively more constitutional, the ones who are flexing muscles a little bit states. Guess which state is on their list as the #1 target? Where I reside, where I live, my state, Florida. Think about it, 21.5, 22 million population, okay? With a governor that hasn't folded, and he has been the best governor other than South Dakota. And again, I'm talking in relative terms. Anybody who thinks I'm saying, oh my God, this guy is so amazing, let's make some kind of a catchy hashtag and start referring to this governor that way. I'm not into this hero worship stuff, and I make sure that I emphasize relatively speaking. Is it all great? No, not at all. But daring, relatively speaking, yes. A governor that said, no, I'm not going to make a statewide or put in place a statewide mandate like many have done already on this COVID craze, this mandated insanity, right? Now, granted, he's done that, but all these counties and cities around here, many of them in Florida, they are doing the job. They're saying, well, in my county, you have to wear a mask, okay? I'm a little shivering little bureaucrat, and I'm going to vote this way. I want that mandated for my county. But as a governor, we're talking about the governor. He's been on their hit list for a while. Governor Ron DeSantis. And they are going to start with Florida. I mean, of course, South Dakota is there too. And I want us to be, right now, put all our focus on not only defending. The best defense is offense, right? That's what I'm talking about. This is after everything we've been through with this mandated insanity, this criminal dictatorship, authoritarian, fascistic practices in the name of COVID, right? In the name of COVID, and this so-called elections and the related blackouts of the social media, etc. After all these, we have only one path left. After seeing all these things, we not only we're not gonna fold and roll over and do the stuff and defend ourselves. We actually right now going to get united in our states, and I'm doing it in Florida. That's what I'm gonna be doing, and I have been doing nothing but this. And I'm gonna report on the progress because there's been great progress here, really good progress. In such a short amount of time with such little resources, there's been tremendous progress here. We're gonna demand, instead of waiting for the enemy, the federal beast, to come after us and start implementing their things, and coercion via money, bribery, that goes a long way. No matter who is in charge of your state. When they say we're going to give you $132,000 per each case of positively tested COVID person, not ill, not dead, man, money talks. I mean, currently, since May, June, Florida state has been receiving tens of billions of dollars a month from the federal beast. Well, of course, they go there and they print the money. It's not backed with anything. It's as valuable as your monopoly set dollar in there, right? But that money, and nobody can tell exactly where the money is going. Some is going to some hospitals, some going to this kind of a congressional district, etc., counties, cities. Money has power. Money corrupts, we all know that. And money can make people do things, okay? How many governors can you think of who would say, I'm gonna forego tens of billions of dollars a month that I'm getting from the federal beast for my state by saying, actually, this is a scam, this is BS. There is no state of emergency. I mean, now they got their vaccines. If it's working, which they say, if they truly mean what they say, anybody who wants to go and get vaccination, No mandates, no mandates. Go ahead and get it. Anybody who wants to lock themselves down, self-isolate, we're not going to prevent them. And those kinds of people, I would love for them to stay in lockdown forever. Amen. But back to, we need to have the offense before it really escalates and they come directly. And it's going to be happening in 3 months max. I mean, it's already happening with the COVID. But there's more to come, and that includes the Second Amendment and much more. We want to have the first hand. We the people united in millions, because 21.5 million in Florida, say demand, not say please, from our governor and our legislators. It's much more doable in a state because it's much lesser degree of this whorehouse dynamics you see in Washington, D.C. It's a smaller scale whorehouse. Do they have whores? Sure they do. Do they have it in Florida, in the House and the Senate here? Sure. I've been reading about them every single day and what they do to some good legislators, because there are some good ones. Unlike Washington, D.C., we've got enough good people there. They may not be the majority, but it's a good size. And relatively speaking, we have a good governor. We want them to have the upper hand and say, we are putting in place this and this and this, and I'm going to get to that. And thou cannot, shall not, will not be allowed to dictate. Whether it's on Second Amendment, whether it is on these mandated insanity via COVID. That's what I've been doing. Now, I started this 29 days ago. It was on December 21st. I know, because I have been doing nothing but this. I formed a movement that I formed with only a handful of people, myself and a few local people that I started meeting with regularly. And on the 21st, I gave it a name. It didn't even have a name. FUAMI, that's the abbreviation. Florida Unites Against Mandated Insanity. That's what FUAMI is. I grabbed the domain name, FUAMI.org. The website is on its way. It's going to be built. Hopefully within a week or 10 days, you'll have the website. But that group of 5 people, in less than a month, has grown to thousands of people. Because on the evening of the 21st, I came up with the name for the movement, and I started this opt-in form that I started collecting people, saying, come and unite with us. Here is our objective, and here is how we're going to do it. And we don't have even 5 months. And this is my mission. This is the only thing I have been doing and I will be doing, and I have given myself a deadline, end of May. So it's less than 5 months, okay? It's 4 months, 4.5 months. And people started joining, and we now have, my FUAMI movement now has thousands of people. Now, granted, I have to go separate. It's about 20% of these, even though I keep saying this is only for Florida. You people should start it in your states. You should do it, replicate this. And they keep coming saying nobody's doing it there. So they keep coming and adding themselves for newsletter. But still, we've got them. Then I, within a week, have put another objective. I said, we need to have regional chapters. Well, in the past 2.5, 3 weeks, we have added 2 more chapters to the headquarters. The headquarters is here in Naples, Florida, where I am, where we started this. And I have 2 lionesses. One is covering the region of Tampa to Venice stretch, FUAMI regional chapter that covers Tampa to Venice. And then a few days after that, another volunteer said, I'm going to organize here for Central Florida, Linda Ponte, And she is now organizing the same chapter meetings, etc., coordination. And I'm going to tell you, this is so important, in-person meetings. You see what's happening, right? Those people who put all their eggs in one basket. I have a Facebook, I have Twitter, and now even the ones who have lost all that, they say, well, I've got email. We're not going to have that. It's very easy for the enemy, the way this whole technology with the evil technocrats ruling it has evolved with everything about us in their database and everything controlled remotely, right? Within a second, they can make our emails select people, activists, the ones who haven't fallen, the ones who haven't been neutered, the ones who are being perceived as threats, the constitutionalists, the real Americans. You won't be able to communicate. You see that, right? It's Google, it's Apple, it's Amazon Cloud, it's all the social media. So, back to basic. I know there's this entire generation who's like, what is the basic? We've never seen it, right? They're 20, 25 now. In person, that's how we started, that's how we've been doing things. We talk to each other, we gather at least once a week, okay? Sometimes there's 50 of us, sometimes there's 21 of, people show up. We have each other's addresses. We travel to other regions and we connect with other activists. We do the same thing, exchange information. FUAMI, Florida Unites Against Mandated Insanity to Save Florida. Now, you're going to say, what is your main top objective right now? The current objective for FUAMI is, I tell you what it is. Because before I started FUAMI, I spent about several months, 3-4 months, looking for an existing group, network, organization, activists saying, let's stop this insanity. This mandated insanity must stop, right? And what I wanted to do, because of my own life circumstances, I have a child and I'm homeschooling right now full-time. She's 12. She's at home with me. I have a husband of 30 years who was diagnosed with ALS a year ago, and we are watching him disappear because he's now disabled. He's lost his leg and he's not mobile any longer. With a very short time period left of his life, I wanted to follow and help some other existing networks, activists, and do my share. Like, okay, maybe I'll prepare podcasts for you. Maybe I'll prepare a video report for you. Maybe I'll help with dissemination of these brochures for you, right? That's what I wanted to do. I told my husband, I told my child, I said, I started the Whistleblowers Coalition and all the stuff in 2002. I've done my part, and this time I want to do it for some existing. I don't want to start something. It's so exhausting. It consumes you, right? It consumes you, and I couldn't find any. It's so interesting because as I started researching here in Florida, there are dozens and dozens of the networks and NGOs, very well organized, handsomely funded for the other side, right? The New World Order left. Soros, Rockefeller, Gates, Carnegie, they're all pouring funds to these organizations. It's not only in Washington, D.C., they're in every state. So if they want to activate their activists, that's how they have woven this web, right? They have put this web, not overnight, for the past several decades they've been working on it, while the other side has done nothing. Well, I'll go and vote. Well, you saw what happened. So I can find plenty of enemies networks here. Soros and Rockefeller funded. In Florida, I couldn't find any real activist groups from the other side. They don't organize. There were a couple of smaller groups, right? And they said, I went to their meetings, okay? And I signed every petition they gave me. But all they wanted to do, and they have been doing, they keep chasing their own tail. They keep chasing this city council who voted for mandated masks. Then they go and chase this commissioner. Then they go back, chase this city council member. It's this tiny little bureaucrats who are selling the residents of their counties. But we know the game is so big and you're going after those tiny little bureaucrats, and it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It hasn't happened. And you keep doing the same thing over and over with the same result. And I believe it was Einstein who said, dude, if you're getting the same result every time, change your way. Okay, well, they're not changing. So, but I sign their petitions. Every time they come to me, I'm like, sure, here it is. If it's going to do any good, you have my signature, name, address, everything there. You want me to go with you to the city hall? I'll go with you, knowing that that's futile. So I couldn't find any networks organizations. And then nationwide, I was approached by some people who are organizing, but their objective, again, futile. In my humble opinion, futile. I just finished telling you about the courts. They have gotten a few attorneys that are already fat cats, right? They are rich. They charge $300 per hour. And a bunch of gullible people who keep donating for these attorneys to fill their pockets get fatter to go to the kangaroo courts. Courts, no longer option. Put that here, okay? Put that here. It's their courts. It's like, which court are you going to fight this, right? Whose court is it, dude? It's not going to happen through the courts. It's already gone. That option been gone for a while. Then I had another group approaching me, some kind of a activism, freedom cells, or something like that. I forgot the name, and they want to have communes, like 1960s hippie-style communes. And they, in Arizona, I believe, and Texas, they're like, you should do it in Florida. So what are we doing, dude? Tell me. What is the objective? So we built these communes, right? I'm just telling you what I was told. This was a month ago. And dress is optional. If you want to walk around naked, you can be all naked. No rules, man, no rules. Like complete anarchy, and we're not going to use any money, and you know, we're gonna sleep in these teepees, and people can build their own teepees, and you can barter carrots for potato and run around naked. Anyhow, I mean, I'm sure it's well intentioned. It's not my cup of tea. Okay, I said, sorry, dude, I can't see myself going back in this life of forests or swamps here in Florida and dig a hole to defecate in. I have my husband disabled. That's not a life I'm going for, and that's not my objective. And I'm not giving up on my country, and I'm not giving up on my Constitution. And I know, because I know we can defeat this. One state at a time. That's the formula. Believe me, I guarantee you this. It starts with one state. Let's take Florida. Florida takes a stand, okay, and says, can't rule me, federal government. We are going to ban your technocrats in our states, Facebook and Twitter, okay? We're going to fine them in our states if they practice this censorship. We're not going to go by your COVID fascism insane mandates. All of that. We think of your state as a nation, okay? Just think about it for 1 second. I'm not talking about secession or anything. Just think about it. State of Florida with 21.5 million people is bigger than when you combine Luxembourg, Belgium, and Holland, okay? You're looking at 3 European countries there. We have our own state troopers, and we have the city police, we have our own sheriff, our counties have sheriff departments, we have our legislators, we have our executive branch, we have our courts, okay? Most importantly, we have our rights guaranteed under the Constitution, because look, our founding fathers foresaw all this. They knew this day was going to come. It was inevitable. Because when power corrupts, absolute power absolutely corrupts, which is what we have seen with this federal central beast. This hungry beast that is not enough, wants more power, more money, and it is a dictatorship. New World Order evil dictatorship. And everything around it represents it. Our whorehouse there in Washington, D.C., our kangaroo Uber Supreme Court, the agencies, forget about them. Make them irrelevant, really make them irrelevant. Let's get back to our states, one state at a time. Then it's going to be a domino effect. Watch it become domino effect. When one state is successful, especially the one that is best positioned for this being Florida. It is. As I said, we have some really good legislators. We have relatively very good, okay, really good, relatively speaking, governor. We have great people here in Florida because the makeup of the population here is we have millions of constitutionalists, right? Who are already seeing what's happening and they're saying enough is enough. You're not going to come after my kids. We have all pulled our kids from their schools. It's their schools right now, the public schools, even here in Florida. Pretty soon we shouldn't be paying a penny, nothing in taxes. If we are going to be made to live like trolls under some bridge or like those little fairies in the forest of the cells that they're in teepees, well, they shouldn't be taxed either. I mean, come on. We have to cut ourselves completely off in order to hold on to our rights and have a choice, because we have no choice outside our homes. You can't travel, no public transportation, your kids can't go to school, you can't enter a hospital the way these mandates are going. No, that's not going to, we're not going to let it happen in Florida. We are uniting in Florida to save Florida. Let's save Florida. And let's be the example and have the domino effect taking effect. We're going to see South Dakota doing it. We are going to see Alabama doing it. We're going to see Idaho doing it. I mean, we are already seeing some signs of this. Haven't you been seeing? Of course, the mainstream media is not going to publicize it. Idaho is saying, you know what? We are going to divest. We're going to pool as a state all our investments in these high-tech censorship, evil New World Order, deep state technocrats, Facebook and Google and whatnot. Well, that's billions of dollars in investment. So, yeah. Because we won't tolerate it in our state, in Idaho. Same thing is happening in Florida. In Montana, Flathead County, I believe, the people there, the commissioner decided that they were going to rescind the mockery state of COVID emergency. Therefore, they were not going to get a grant from the federal government, because the federal government is coercing these states by giving them money. If you rescind the state of emergency in your state, you won't get money anymore. See? And as I said, money works, right? But we, the people, we have more power than their money in our states, within our states. The first step, I said, we were going to start uniting. We went from 4 or 5 people down to thousands. We are going to have regional chapters. Well, we already have 3 in place, 3 more to go. I need Northwest, Northeast, and Southeast Miami covered, because the rest we are covering here. And that's coming. Stay tuned for that. We've already have had one of our main conferences. It was on Sunday. It was amazing. We had some people from our regional chapters joining us. We had a very successful, very positive conference here in Naples. Next week, we have a conference in Sarasota, and it's led by Ashley Arasan. So I'm going there next Sunday, which is 5 days away, and we already have over 200, 250 people who have RSVP'd. They are mainly from that Tampa, Sarasota, St. Pete region, but we have people even from Jacksonville going there to attend the conference. Okay, I'm going to go there as well. I'm going to be one of their speakers. And the following week, we have another major conference in Orlando for Central Florida. I have been sending all these newsletters to our members who have opted in, okay, with FUAMI. Yes, all this in less than a month, I would say that's great. Oh my God, we have a long way to go. But if we can accomplish all this with practically no resources, we still have to get our website built, right? Imagine what we're going to do in a few months and get accomplished and get done. That is the only path. That is the enemy's final stop. Getting rid of our state's autonomy, which is in place to a certain degree, and our state's rights, our state's powers. They have been neutering our states for decades, almost a century, since the Great Depression. But this is going to be the final nail, okay? Do you want that? I don't. This is the only path. And I really hope to see others in other great states, because we have so many of them. We do. Start doing the same thing. Get in touch with me. We can network as well. Florida is going to be the first. We are going to be the first. We're going to ensure, we're going to give it all. And this is, I said that in my last video, this is my final public fight. That is, if we can't get people to do this much in this last stage when they have actually enabled the enemy to get this far with us. If we can't get them, if I can't get them to do this much and save our states and save our country state by state, there's nothing else left. Nothing else. We would be going through decades and decades, if not a century, of dark ages. Then maybe there will be hope, but there is no other way left. Don't let people sell you bridges. You know what I'm talking about, right? There are people who are trying to take advantage of desperate people. We, the desperate people. We, the outraged people. Many people who are giving up hope, or they're almost done with hoping. They're becoming so pessimistic, so they're grabbing to any bridges offered. They come to you and they say, give us money, we're going to go to courts, fight. We are already broke. That's not the way. It's their courts. There is not going to be any legal battle with a chance in federal courts. The president of this country, the elected president of this country with star attorneys and hundreds of millions of dollars couldn't challenge them. The enemy's takeover. And these people are selling you the bridge and saying, give money to our attorneys and we're going to go to court, in their courts, their kangaroo courts, and we're going to fight it for you. They're going to fill their pockets. They're going to be gone. This is not going to be fought in courts. This is not going to be fought by going to Washington, D.C. whorehouse, okay? This is not going to be fought by going to some commune and do the ballet and play flute, okay? And dig a hole to defecate. No. The battle is up to the states, and we, the people in each state. I'm hopeful. Otherwise, why would I be doing this, right? Because life has been really, really tough. What do I want you to do? I always like to give suggestions, but also ask you what to do. Because you're not doing it for me, you're doing it for us. You're doing it for we the people. You're doing it for our children and for our grandchildren and for our parents. You're doing it for our liberties. Recognize that this is the path. States. This is the battleground that is going to be here. And we can defeat them. Easily we can defeat them. Because they're going to be trying to do it in our turfs. We've been fighting it or trying to fight it in their turfs. This is our turf. One. I'm going to add the link to the description section of this video. Those of you in Florida, opt in. Their link for opt-in is there. You go there, put your name, your city, zip code, state, an email, because I'm sending newsletters regularly. All these conferences that we get RSVPs is because people are opting in. They're getting the updates, the news about conferences, events, campaigns, rallies. And so opt in. I'm going to put the link in there for our fundraising. We just started GoFundMe. Contribute whatever you can. If you can do $100, that will be greatly appreciated. If you can do $1, that will be greatly appreciated. We need to build websites. Here is the brochures. We printed about 100, 150 of them because that's how much we could afford. And this is our QR code, so people can go to our opt-in page until our website is done, because we don't have it yet. But hey, grassroots, and it's great. It has our objective, it has our contact information, FUAMI, and this great graphic logo was created by one of our lion activists, Ray, and we are very thankful. He created a great banner for us, and he did all the design for this great brochure, FUAMI. Please go to GoFundMe and donate, because we are going to have, I'm going to have another updates for you. So I won't make this already so long. I'm so sorry that it got so long because I haven't done any videos. We also have established subgroups under our umbrella FUAMI. We have established a small association of small businesses we have created under FUAMI. And we have a leader now who's bringing all these Florida businesses, the small to medium, the ones that they want to destroy, right, with the lockdowns and mandates, etc. So we have that umbrella. We have another sub-umbrella under our umbrella, which is for the healthcare sector. These are medical doctors, licensed nurses. Some of them attended our conference on Sunday. So we are doing all that. And for these things, travel, conferences, brochures, website, for all of this stuff, we need resources. Now, these business groups, they're gonna do some fundraising very soon. And we're gonna be and you're gonna be waking up in Florida, driving and seeing our billboards in major areas on the highway as you're driving to work or going to places. And it's going to be a special message there. So we're going to be doing those billboards throughout the states. That's going to be coming. So please do your share. Go to GoFundMe and donate whatever you can. Join our database, okay? It's private. We don't embed any cookies, and we don't go sell it to other businesses, the stuff they do, all these people. We don't do that. Email, contact information is there. I hope other people, other awake activists in other states are some of you. Come on. All it takes is the resolve and saying, this is the last one. This is the last battleground. We're not going to go easily. In fact, we're not going anywhere. We're going to hold on to it and our Constitution through our states, one by one, domino effect. And then we have our nation back. That's how we're going to take our nation back. All the links are provided up in this description section on YouTube. GoFundMe link is there. I'll be with you soon with more details and more organized kind of a news analysis report related to this. One quick answering the repeated questions from Newsbud. Why aren't you doing any of the geopolitical analysis, Sibel, on Turkey and Iran? This is the survival right now. I am, like many people who are awake, I'm looking at a matter of life and death, free or slave. And right now, this is the only battleground. With our success, I'm going to hopefully go back and do what my job was, be a geopolitical analyst. But right now, I'm fighting for my liberties, my daughters, my husbands, our Constitution, my fellow Americans. I am solely dedicating myself solely to this. FUAMI. So join us. Thank you all. This is Subal Edmonds, and I'll be with you soon with more, mostly positive.